And I'm live. Yay! What? I don't have any viewers yet. Nobody's here yet. I'm not going to start until...
They're very busy finishing their assignments.
Is that what is happening? All right. Good afternoon, everybody. It's 1 o'clock on a Tuesday, and it did rain. Now it's dry and windy. Dylan's eating veggie sticks, making lots of noise in the background. And I don't know, I think it's supposed to rain a little bit more later on. And I think there's some storms coming through in a couple hours, so make sure if you do go outside that you keep an eye to the sky. Make sure you get inside if it's bad weather. All right, this morning you had your iReady path, 15 minutes. You had your reading for 15 to 30 minutes, and then your Google Slide book report to do. A couple of you froze, so I had to fix that for you. But we fixed that all up, and you should be able to do that. I had a lot of technology issues today, unfortunately. Our Google Meet didn't work in the beginning of the day. I had to get a new link, and then my sound didn't work. And I had to exit the room and come back in. And then some people's Google report slides didn't work. I had to fix that. And then the Nearpod lesson. The Nearpod lesson had one question that was wrong. The answer was wrong on slide 36 and 37, where the paragraph was talking about Chris and going to the movies. And the answer was Chris liked scary movies or something like that. That was not what the paragraph was all about. So that was the wrong answer. So that just made by me, it was made by someone else. So I probably should have read every single paragraph and all the answers and checked over it, but that was my fault for not doing that. So I was assuming that everything was correct. I did go through it a few times, but I didn't read every single passage word for word and check the answers. So one parent brought that to my attention this morning, and we fixed, well, I couldn't go back in and fix it because that's not my lesson, so I can't change the answer. So on Thursday and Friday, we'll go over more main idea paragraphs and go over some more supporting details as well. These are lessons that I had creation to make up and create. So those are definitely right. So I definitely checked over those. So you should be fine. Then other than that, for ELA writing, just make sure you're all caught up on your 4 paragraphs for your research writing. Make sure that you are using my example that I attached to the lesson to make sure that you're doing it correctly. And I am in the process of pulling and conferencing with some of you for your writing. So I'm going to leave some comments on your Google Doc. And if I need to, I'm going to set up Google Meets with some of you to make sure that we get on the same page as far as organization, punctuation, capitalization, see if we have to revise or edit any of your work. And then Spelling City, make sure that you're doing at least one assignment. There's 3 assignments and then your quiz. Some of you finished it and did well, which is great. Others are doing one little section of Spelling City a day, which is fine, and then you'll be ready to take your quiz on Friday. So I don't really care how you do it. In a perfect world, I would like you to do kind of like you do word work in your centers, do one section at a time. And then on Friday, you can take your test. So if you already did it, great. If not, keep doing what you're doing. Just make sure you do something over the next couple of days to work with those words and know how to spell them. I saw the word finally and friendly were 2 words that some of you are having trouble with. So just make sure you understand that finally has F-I-N-A-L-L-Y. So we have that long I and then that single N after the vowel, the long vowel. And then friendly, the way, it's a tricky word, but I before E. And then your N-D-L-Y. So that's kind of a 3rd grade slate word, but it's also a tricky word as well. All right, Mr. Popper's Penguins. Let's see. We got to chapter 16, and it's called On the Road. So yesterday, our penguins performed for Mr. Greenbaum in the theater, and they were a last-minute addition to the performance. And luckily, they hit it off at the end, and they were able to pull off their performance. And the manager and the owner of the theater company thought they did a great job and offered them $5,000 a week for their performances. Yeah. So they get to travel. I know that's a lot of money, $5,000 a week. That's going to buy a lot of fish and sardines for our little squatty little friends, all 12 of them. So this is good news. They can now keep the penguins, but they have to go on the road and not staying home. I think Mr. Popper would like this because he wanted to get out of his little town and kind of travel the world. So he might like to do this, but I'm not sure if the rest of the family is going to enjoy traveling and going across the country. So we'll see. So it says on the road. So I'm guessing this chapter is going to be all about their first performances on the road. So let's see. During the next day, there was much to be done at 432 Proudfoot Avenue. There were new clothes to buy for all of them, and the old one. The mothballs, Mommy?
I do know what mothballs are.
I don't think my parents had them, but my grandparents definitely had them. And they used them. What did they do? They smelled horrible.
Yeah, they smell a little interesting.
Yeah.
But people put them in their attics, keeps rodents and stuff away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know. It keeps bugs away from clothes and stuff like that.
And I think maybe it's an old wives' town. That's why we don't do it as much anymore.
I don't even know if you could even buy mothballs anymore.
Well, while you're reading, I'll Google about mothballs.
That's a great idea. Okay. Then Mrs. Popper had to scrub and polish and straighten the whole place, for she was much too good for a housekeeper to leave everything at 6s and 7s while the Poppers were away. Mr. Greenbaum sent them their first week's pay in advance. Wow. The first thing they did was to pay off the man who had installed the freezing plant in the basement. He had been getting rather uneasy about his money, and after all, without him, they could never have trained the penguins. Next, they sent a check to the company who had been shipping the fresh fish all the way from the coast. At last, everything was done, and Mr. Popper turned the key in the door of the little house. They were a little late in arriving at the railway station on account of the argument with the traffic policeman. The argument was on account of the accident to the 2 taxi cabs. With 4 poppers and 12 penguins, not to mention the 8 suitcases and pail of water with the live fish for the penguins' lunch, Mr. Popper found that they could not all fit into one cab, so he had to call a second one. I don't even think you can fit into 2 cabs. I think you need like a bus. 8 suitcases, 12 penguins, 4 family members, freezer for their food. That's a lot of stuff. Each of the taxi drivers were eager to be the first one to get to the station and surprise the people there by opening the door of his cab and letting out 6 penguins. So they raced each other all the way, and in the last block they tried to pass each other, and one of the fenders got torn off. Goodness. The traffic officer naturally got very much annoyed. The train was about to pull out of the station when they arrived. Even with both taxi drivers helping them through the gate and over the brass rails onto the rear observation platform, they barely made it. The penguins were gasping. It had been decided that Mr. Popper should ride in the baggage car with the penguins to keep them and the children should ride in one of the Pullmans. Because of getting on at the observation end of the train, Mr. Popper had to take the birds through the whole length of the train. It was easy enough to get them through the club car, even with the pail of fish to carry. In the sleeping cars, however, where the porter was already making up some of the berths, there was trouble. The porter's ladders offered too much temptation to the penguins. There were a dozen happy orcs from a dozen ecstatic beaks. Popper's performing penguins, completely forgetting their discipline, fought to climb the ladders and get into the upper berths. Poor Mr. Popper, one old lady screamed that she was going to get off the train, whether it was going 90 miles an hour or not. A gentleman wearing a clergyman's collar suggested opening a window so that the penguins could jump out. 2 porters tried to shoo the birds out of the berths. Finally, the conductor and the brakeman with a lantern came to the rescue. It was quite a while, besides going on the road, depending on what time it was in the year. And I'm guessing, based on that information, we know that it was during the school year. So it's still in the wintertime, I think, so they're still in school. So the is very broadening. From the start, the Penguins were a righteous success. Even their opening performance in Seattle went off. Before I turn the page, I want you to see a picture of the Penguins causing problems in the rail cars. So let's go back to ending. Even their opening performance in Seattle went off without a hitch, probably because they had already rehearsed on a real stage. It was here that the Penguins added a little lovely novelty number of their own to the program. They were the first thing on the bill. When they finished their regular act, the audience went wild. They clapped and stamped and roared for more of Popper's performing penguins. Janie and Bill helped their father herd the penguins off the stage so that the next act could go on. The next act was a tightrope walker named Monsieur Duval. The trouble was that instead of watching him from the wings, as they should have done, the penguins got interested and walked out on the stage again to watch him more closely. Unfortunately, at this moment, Monsieur Duval was doing a very difficult dance on the wire overhead. The audience, of course, had thought that the penguins were all through and were very much pleased to see them return and line up with their backs to the audience and look up at Monsieur Duval, dancing so carefully on the wire high above them. I hope the penguins don't disturb him. This made everyone laugh so hard that Monsieur Duval lost his balance. "Orc," said the penguins, waddling away hurriedly in order not to be under him when he fell. Cleverly recovering his balance, Monsieur Duval caught the wire by the inside of his elbow and saved himself. He was very angry when he said to them in French. "Orc," said the penguins, pretending not to understand, and making remarks to each other in penguin language about Monsieur Duval. And whenever they appeared, the more they interfered with the other acts on the program, the better the audience liked them. And whenever they appeared, the more they interfered with the other acts on the program, the better the audience liked them. Chapter 17 is called Fame. So besides doing their act, they're messing up the other acts, and the audience thinks it's pretty. If they're bringing in a lot of money, then maybe they will. I don't know. But the next chapter is called Fame. So thinking about what that word means, obviously the base word of famous is fame. So a person that acquires fame is famous. Fame means that you're very popular, very well known. Think of someone who's very famous right now. No, not you, Mommy D. In our world today, obviously the President of the United States is very famous because he's trying to get us through this horrible crisis.
He was famous before.
And he was famous before. He was a famous actor before becoming president. And yes, he was an actor. He's an entertainer and actor.
I didn't know he was an actor.
You didn't know that he had shows like...
Oh, well, he had his shows, correct.
Yeah.
Business owner, I think of him as.
Yeah, he was a business owner, an actor, an entertainer. You're fired. But, he's not the only person that's famous. Obviously, we have famous singers and musicians. And there's a really good concert the other night, if you didn't catch it, on TV about some of the famous songwriters and artists coming together and singing songs to bring our country and our world together. And that was a nice thing for them to do. The last song was awesome, actually. You Were Snoring. But there was a collaboration between John Legend and Lady Gaga and Celine Dion and who else? There's a couple other people. And it was a really awesome song, actually. I really liked it. So, if you acquire fame, that means you acquire, usually with fame comes money as well. So we all dream of becoming famous, but if you're not famous, it's not the end of the world. You don't have to be famous to be successful in life. Hopefully, we all are very successful when we get back to our lives the way we knew it before this happened. All right, 1:16. The sun is nice and out now, so maybe it's a good time to go out now. Hopefully eat lunch. I'm going to eat some lunch now. It's waiting for me. My wife made egg salad. Thank you. And that's what my lunch is going to be today. And if you have any questions on your assignments, please let me know. Hopefully our technology will work a little bit better on Thursday. Remember, tomorrow is a makeup day, so you don't need to. I am going to have a morning meeting tomorrow, I think, just to get you on the right track and get everybody caught up on things. And then I'll be around all day tomorrow. If you need to let me know, if you need anything, or if you have questions on any of your assignments, let me know. And I'll be available. I do have a meeting from 10:15 to 10:50 with my teachers. But other than that, I'll be around to help you if you need help with some of your assignments. And trying to think else. I'm going to make a video later on today, and I'm going to show you why that answer is wrong for the main idea question on the Nearpod. And I'm going to post it. So just in case you had some questions on that, I'm going to show you my thoughts and feelings about that paragraph and show you how I decided what the main idea was and then why the answer is wrong on the Nearpod lesson. Okay. All right. Hopefully you get all of your work done. You're going to have a good day today, and stay safe. If there are strong storms in the area, make sure that you are. What was that?
If thunder roars.
If thunder roars, head indoors. Yes. And, make sure that if you do hear thunder, you come inside and be safe. All right. Hopefully everybody's doing well, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.